In this video, we're going to install WordPress using one of the many what's called one-click installation methods. Now, while there is a few more than just one click involved, you will see just how easy this method is in just a second. Now, before we get started in the WordPress creation process, I'd suggest that we first get our ducks in a row by creating a desktop folder to keep all the files dealing with our new WordPress site in. Files like our login details, images, future content, and whatever else you can think of that will have anything to do with this site can go into this particular folder. The alternative is that 6 months or a year from now, you're going to spend several minutes or hours looking for your login credentials or those expensive header images you bought for this site or your backup files, and you're going to hear my voice whispering in the background, "I told you so." So avoid the headaches and the hassles. Just spend a few minutes now, create that desktop folder, and you'll be in good shape down the line when you really need it. This so-called one-click method requires that you have access to a program called Fantastico. Now, there's a few other programs out there as well, like Softaculous, for example, but I'm going to demonstrate this using Fantastico because most cPanel control panels have at least Fantastico. Now, I've already logged into my cPanel account, and you want to scroll down until you come to the Software Services panel and click on the blue smiley face. That's the Fantastico Deluxe, and there's that Softaculous I was referring to. But click on Fantastico Deluxe. That opens up Fantastico Deluxe. And over here in the left column, you want to click on the link that says WordPress. Now, I already have a website created for the root directory, so I need to create another one in this demo in a subdirectory. No problem. I'll show you how to do that right now. Click on New Installation. I already have one in the main directory or the root directory. Now I need to put in a name of the subdirectory here, but this subdirectory cannot currently be in existence. Just like it says right here, this installation process will actually create that subdirectory for me. So since my WordPress site's theme is going to be on dog training, I'm going to go ahead and type in dog. And moving along here, here is where we want to put in our administrator username and password. You really don't want to have these guys guessable at all. We're going to make this hard for people to figure out what they are because these are the keys to the castle. So number one, do not put admin in here as your administrator username. And for the password, do not put something guessable like 1, 2, 3, 4. Make this a combination of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, those special characters you find at the top of your keyboard. Now I've already got my little text document over here to the side that I've already created my username and my password. So I'm just going to go ahead and paste these guys in there. As you can see here, the password consists of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and some of those special characters. Ideally, no less than 8 characters. Better if you have 12 or more characters. Now, the admin nickname, email address, site name, description can all be done later on, but right here's a good spot to put them in now. And since this theme is going to be dog training related, I'm going to go ahead and reflect that here. Now, under the administrator email, you want to make sure that this email, number one, exists, and number two, is monitored by you, because this is the email that your visitors are going to be using to contact you at. And it could be something important like, hey, where do I go to give you money? And once you've got all this stuff filled out, go ahead and click on Install WordPress. And you may want to make a note of this. This is your WordPress site's database. And this is the URL to get to your WordPress site. As you can see here, it's got the dog subdirectory. And click on Finish Installation. That's step 2 of 3. One last time for you to copy your username and your password if you haven't done so already. And we're done. Now we're going to go ahead and click on this link here to go to the admin area. So have your username and password handy to log in. Now at this point, our WordPress site is installed and up and running. Not much to it, but it is there. I'm just going to go ahead and show you the back end or the administrator area while we're here. And this is it. And if we come up here to the top left corner and hover over the name of the site and then left click on Visit Site, this will take us to our WordPress site. This is how you use the one-click installation method to install your WordPress site. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. In this video, we're going to install WordPress manually, which does take a little bit longer than the so-called instant methods, but there are more security measures built into this method, and this way you're always going to be installing the most recent version of WordPress. But first, to keep things organized, go ahead and create a folder on your desktop relating to this WordPress site, name it whatever you want. Inside this folder, you should keep things like your images, your text or spreadsheet documents that contain the login credentials, your backups, anything related to this particular WordPress site. You should have one place on your computer to go to find all those goodies. Okay, that's out of the way. Now, there's basically 4 things we're going to do to create our WordPress site. We're going to go to wordpress.org and download the most recent installation files. Then number 2, we're going to unzip those files and upload them to our server. Now at this point, I need to assume that you've already got a domain name and a web hosting service. And you should also determine at this point, are you going to be uploading or installing WordPress on your root directory or on a subdirectory? Meaning, whenever you type in the URL to your WordPress site, is it going to be mydomain.com? Boom, there's your WordPress site. Or is it going to be in a subdirectory where you type in mydomain.com/blog? Either way you want to do it is totally fine because the installation process is exactly the same. It's just where are you going to upload these files to? Number 3, we're going to build a database. And number 4, we're going to add our database to our WordPress site. And that's basically it. So let's go ahead and get to work. Now I've already taken the liberty of going to wordpress.org and downloading the most recent installation files. And I want to point out that in a zipped up format, it's just a little bit over 6 megabytes. But whenever we uncompress those, as you can see as I hover over this, it's almost 17 megabytes. And most every installation process recommends that you upload these files here. So I open that up. And this will take twice as long than if you were to upload a single zip file. But if you're going to do that fast way, as I'm about to show you, you have to send the right zip file. So you cannot send the zip file that you downloaded from wordpress.org. That's not going to work. So first, unzip them. And I do that in my Windows machine by right-clicking and then left-clicking on Extract All. Navigate to the location on my computer where I want those files to be extracted to. Click on Extract and we're good. And then you come up with something like this. Then open that folder and expose all the files. Then select the top file or folder in this case. Hold the Shift key down on your keyboard. Select the bottom file, and that selects all the files. And then just pick one of these files in here, it does not matter, and then right-click and then compress, or in my case, send to compressed folder. It'll zip all these guys up into the one file right here, and that's what I'm going to upload to my server. But first I want to point out that if you click on this README file, it opens up in your browser, and this gives you some more installation tips, updating tips, and so on. So when you get a chance, check that out. Now we head over to our file manager in our cPanel control panel and upload that zip file. Click on Upload, click on Choose File, navigate to the location of that zip file we just created, select that, click on Open, and it's going to begin the upload process. And while it's doing that, I'm going to come on back over here to cPanel and create our database. So scroll on down till you get to the Databases panel, click on MySQL Databases, and if I'm going too fast for you, well, that's what the pause button's for. Now we want to create our database here, create a user here, and then tie the two together down here. And I'll get to that here in just a second. But first, let's create our database. Now you can put whatever you want in here, and if you make a mistake, don't worry, because they will tell you in big red letters. Click on Create Database, copy this. But whenever you do this, make sure you do not copy that period at the end because that's not part of the name. I'm going to go ahead and paste this on a document that I got stashed away here. That's going to hold the database name, the database username, the database password, and a new database prefix. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's go ahead and paste this right here. It'll all make sense here in a second. Oh, and by the way, this stuff here, these are the username and the password for my WordPress administrator area. Again, I'll get to that here in just a second. So click on Go Back, come on down and create our user, and I'm going to use the same name for my username as I did for the database name. So I just want to copy this guy right here. Now you don't have to, you can name your username whatever you want, but this is just a habit I've gotten into. Now we want to create a strong password, and I do that by using the password generator. Copy this. Check that box saying that you did copy that. Click on Use Password. Click on Create User. And I'm going to paste that password right here. And remember, my database name and username are exactly the same. So we're good there. Click on Go Back. Now we need to tie the two together. If you've got multiple databases and multiple users, make sure that you select the proper ones from this drop-down arrow. Click on Add. Click on All Privileges. Click on Make Changes. Click on Go Back. And our database is all complete. Now we come on back up here, make sure our upload is finished. It is. Click on Back to Home. Select that file that we just uploaded. Come on up here and click on Extract. Click on Extract Files. Click on Close. Select that zip file again. Because we no longer need it, let's go ahead and delete it. Click on Delete Files. We are good to go. Now we've got all the pieces of the puzzle put together. We just need to tie them all up. And we do that by opening up our browser. And in the browser bar, we want to type in the URL to our WordPress installation. And in my case, it was in the root directory. So I type in the URL to my root directory /wp-admin/install.php. Then click on your enter button, and this is going to pop up where you then click on create a configuration file. This is going to pop up kind of warning you that, hey, you got to have all this stuff done first, which we already do. Click on Let's Go. Now we want to copy the username, database name, and password into the appropriate boxes here. Oh, and most every single time the database host name will be what is in here. That's the local host. But you do have certain hosting services like 1&1 or GoDaddy where that's not the case. So if you're not sure, go ahead and do this, leave that alone, and then click on Submit. And if you get an error message saying something related to the database host is not correctly named, then contact your hosting service, find out what needs to go in here, and then redo this process. Now I'm also going to change the table prefix here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. You can change it to whatever you want. It's just that leaving it in the default WP_ is one more thing that the hackers can use to get into your database and just wreak havoc all over your WordPress site. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that and paste it here. And copy the username, database name, and password and put them in the appropriate boxes. Then click on Submit. And if all works well, this is what you're going to get. Click on Run the Install. Now at this point, you want to give your WordPress site a name. That's going to go in the site title area, username, and password. And the email address needs to be an actively available email address because this is where information related to this WordPress site is going to be sent to. For example, visitors that want to send you money or visitors that want to contact you about your WordPress site. This is what they're going to use to contact you at. And the Allow Search Engines box, I always uncheck this upon installation because I really don't want the search engines or anybody else for that matter to see my WordPress site until I want them to. And there's a spot in the administrator area where you can recheck this box later on. Let's go ahead and fill in the blanks. And whatever you put in here in the password and the username, be sure and document them somewhere because you're going to need them to log in here in just a second. And something to consider for both username and the password, you've got these little hints down here below to give you an idea as to what you can and cannot or should not use in the username and the password boxes. Now here under the password, if it's something that's too weak, WordPress will not even allow the installation to take place until it's a stronger password. So keep that in mind too. And then when you get all the boxes filled in, click on Install WordPress, click on Login, and then enter your username and the password that you just created and click on Login. Now at this point our WordPress site is created and we just logged into the administration section of our WordPress site. And that's it. Now if you want to check out what your brand new WordPress site looks like, right up here in the top left corner, click on the title or right here where it says Visit Site, and that'll open up your browser to your brand new WordPress site. And that is how you can manually create a WordPress site. Thanks for watching and you have a great day. This video is going to cover the basic after installation cleanup of our WordPress site. Now most of the actions in this video are optional, but I feel that they're important enough to at least let you know of them so you can decide if you want to spend the extra few minutes to do them or not. Now the first thing that I do is log into my cPanel's file manager or open up an FTP client like FileZilla and go to wherever my WordPress installation files are located. For example, in cPanel, that would be right here under File Manager. And I have my installation files located in my root directory, so they're right here. And the first thing that I do is delete some of these files. The README file, the license.txt file, and depending upon your installation method, if you still have the wp-config-sample.php file, let's get rid of it. That's all of these guys. Yep, I was just double checking there. So these three, delete. And inside of the wp-admin, open that up. There's a couple of installation files in here we no longer need. That would be the installation-helper.php and the install.php. Go ahead and delete those. Now in the wp-content directory, there's a couple of things in here that I usually go into and clean up. Totally up to you if you want to do these or not, but under plugins, I never use the Hello plugin, so I always delete that right off the bat. Select that and click on delete. And in the themes directory, I only use one theme. And there's no reason to have multiple themes in your directory if you're only going to use one theme. That's my 2 cents worth. Many others will disagree, because one of the beauties behind WordPress is the ability to quickly change the look of your WordPress site by altering or activating different themes that you might have already installed. So myself, I just don't like the 2013 theme. The 2014 I'm getting used to, but the 2012 I love. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the 2013 theme, go up one level, go up another level, and right here I'm done. Now then, let's log into, go and get out of my file manager. Now let's go ahead and log into the dashboard area or the admin area of our WordPress site, because there's a few things in here that I want to clean out as well. Namely the placeholders like the default post and the default comment, which will automatically be deleted once you delete the default post. And I want to change out the uncategorized category and the default page, which is the sample page. Let's go ahead and get into our dashboard here, which I've already logged into. And if you're not familiar with how to do that, just type in the address bar up here, your WordPress site's URL /wp-admin, hit your return key, and then a box will pop up asking for your username and your password. Then that'll get you right here. At this point, we come on over here to Posts. Just click on Posts, click on Trash. Go to Categories, click on Categories, and depending upon the theme of your WordPress site will depend on what you edit this to. And for that matter, you may just wait until you are ready to edit this uncategorized category name, but you should not leave this named uncategorized. It just doesn't look right. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this and change the name to Dog Training. And I've capitalized the first letter of each word here and put a space in between the two. Now I also need to do the same thing with the slug down here. And by the way, the slug is simply a URL friendly version of the name, which means I need to make this lowercase and I need to put a dash in between the two, just like that. And if you want to put in a description down here, that's totally fine, but I usually do not. Click on Update. Now you can see that's our new category name and Dog Training. And if we go over to Comments, you can see that there are no comments found because it was deleted as soon as we deleted that post. Now under Pages, I want to delete the sample page. And that's it. That's going to bring us to the end of this video on after installation cleanup of my WordPress site. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. In this video, we're going to cover some of the basic security measures that you can put into place for your WordPress site. Now there's several different security measures you can actually have, but I'm only going to cover some of the basic ones in this video. Number one, no matter how you install WordPress, the very first ID number in the database is going to be an administrator username, and assigned to that is the administrator password. So an added layer of security is to go ahead and create an additional administrator username and password and delete the first one, because any good hacker is going to know that the ID number one in your database is going to be the administrator. And if they have access to that, then they're going to have access to everything on your WordPress site as the administrator. So let's just go ahead and delete that one. The best way to do that is to create a new administrator username and password, delete the original one so there no longer is an ID number one. Another item is to keep everything up to date. Your WordPress version, your plugins, your themes, anything related to the makings of your WordPress site, keep it as up to date as possible. Now that said, whenever a brand new full version of WordPress comes out, like a 3.8 or a 3.9 or a 4.0, you may want to hold off for at least a few days before you go ahead and upgrade to that brand new full version, because there may be some lingering bugs between that new version and some of the plugins or themes that you have activated on your site. So go ahead and give it a couple of days to let other people encounter those problems and get them fixed before you encounter those problems and have to deal with them. And it's really important to do a full backup of both your files and database on a regular basis. How regular? Well, it depends on how often you add content or how active your site is. If it's something that you add content to on, say, a weekly basis, then maybe a weekly backup of both files and database is fine. If it's something like a very active membership site that you have brand new members coming in every day and brand new content every other day, then you might want to consider a full backup of files and database on a daily basis. Now, as I had mentioned earlier about keeping things up to date, if for some reason you are just in love with an older version of WordPress, well, keep this in mind. Hackers are very aware of the vulnerabilities of older WordPress sites. So if you are going to be sticking with an older version, then what you need to do is to erase any and all footprints of that version. In other words, WordPress lets everybody know what version of WordPress you're using. For example, if we were to right-click on your WordPress site, and I'm using Chrome browser, by the way, so if you're using a different browser, Internet Explorer, Firefox, whatever, then you might have a different language to get to what I'm about to show you, and that is the page source. So I right-click and then left-click on page source. That opens up all the coding stuff for your WordPress site. And as you can see, there's several spots in here that tell you the version of WordPress that you're working with. And it also tells the hackers, oh, okay, that's version 3.2. So all I have to do is just look in my little book of break-ins and see what hacks are available for version 3.2. Boom. So what you need to do is, again, if you're sticking with an older version, is to remove all of these little telltale signs of what version of WordPress you're using. Now, there's a few different methods out there, and really only one method covers all footprints. Some methods will require you to delete a certain something in the header.php or something to add to your functions.php that will eliminate this meta name generator. Well, you still got things like the RSS feed that, if not eliminated properly, those RSS feeds are still going to be showing the versions. So what I'm going to show you is a way to eliminate all footprints of what version of WordPress your site is. So let's go ahead and do that first. Now, anytime you're messing with code, let me go ahead and close this guy out here. Anytime you're messing with code, you really should have access to a file manager through a cPanel type control panel or an FTP client so you can access these files just in case the edits or the additions to your file that you might be doing inside of the dashboard area. For example, under Appearance, under Editor, you can edit all these files right here, and the function.php file is the one I'm going to be editing. But if we do all this stuff within this page right here, which is just fine, but if something goes wrong, then you're no longer going to have access to this page because you just broke your site. So if that happens, don't sweat it. So long as you have access to these files outside of your WordPress site, like through a file manager in cPanel or through an FTP client, then you're good to go. You simply access that broken file through one of those means and fix the problem. Whether it means going to your desktop and uploading the original file to overwrite the broken one, or just fix the broken one. However you do it, you won't be able to do it inside of this page here. So that's why anytime you edit your files or customize your files inside of WordPress, make sure that you have an out. Make sure you have a plan B. Another thing about editing or customizing code, ideally it should only be done in what's called a child theme. But that's the makings of a different video. So for the time being, I'm just going to do all the editing right inside of here. So let's go ahead and tackle that one first. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the theme functions or the functions.php file right here. And I do have my cPanel control panel open right here just in case. I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom of this page to enter the new code, and you don't have to worry about pausing the video and trying to copy all this stuff down. I'm going to include this code along with this video, so it's just a copy and paste type thing. Scroll back down here and then paste, and right here I'm going to click on update file. And by the way, this is theme specific. So if you have a few different themes installed and you do this addition to one of those themes, it's not going to be the same with your other themes. So if you regularly switch from one theme to another, then you want to do the same thing on all the themes. Update file. Nothing's broken. So far so good. Let's come on back here to our front page, refresh the page, right click and left click on View Page Source. As you can see, all those items up here where version 3.9 was showing are not showing any longer. So all footprints are gone. So that's probably one of the more important security measures. Again, only if you're accustomed to using an older version of WordPress. If you regularly keep your WordPress site up to date, you really don't need to mess with this at all. So let's go ahead and do the first item I had mentioned, and that's create an additional username. Now, first off, let me show you what I'm referring to. If we go to our cPanel control panel, come on down to our databases panel and click on PHP My Admin. Come over here and open up our database. Click on users. You can see right here we only have the one user in here right now, but ID number 1. That's what the hackers are going to see, and they're going to have access to everything that this guy has access to, and this being the administrator, well, they have access to everything. So let's go ahead and eliminate that problem. I'll close this out. Come on back to our dashboard. Come on down to users. Come on up here and click on add new. So let's go ahead and fill this in real quick. Then come on down here, and if you want to send the information to the email address you have entered up here, then go ahead and check that box. But since that's a fake email, I'm not going to do that. But you want to definitely make sure that under role you've got administrator checked. Click on add new user. Now then, let's go ahead and log out and then log in under this one. And now we're going to log in as the new administrator. Come on back to users. Now you can see since we're logged in as this administrator, we no longer have the delete function here, but we do here. Let's go ahead and click on delete. Click on delete all content. Confirm deletion. Come on back to our cPanel control panel. Go back into our PHP My Admin. Open up that database. Click on our users. Now you can see ID 1 no longer exists, just the one brand new one we just added. And last but not least, we're going to be covering in this video is doing a full backup. Now there's several ways you can do this. There's several plugins that can do this. But remember, whatever you do, what you're wanting to accomplish here is a full backup of the database and the files. So a good way to do this is to, number one, have a folder on your computer that is dealing with this particular WordPress site. And inside of that folder, have another folder titled Backup. So you can have all these things backed up to that one folder. So I'm inside of a file manager here. You can do the same thing through an FTP client. I'm going to go ahead and click on Select All. Click on Compress. I'm going to select Zip Archive. Some of these other ones are actually better, but for the sake of this video, Zip's going to be just fine. I want to give it a name, and the name I want to give it is going to be the date for this particular backup. Click on Compress File. Click on Close. Select that compressed file, and then click on Download. Navigate to the location where you want that to be. Click on Save, and you have your full backup of just your files. So now then, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of this and delete this. Now you want the backup of your database. Let's go ahead and close this guy out. Come on back down to our PHP My Admin. I should have done this earlier, huh? Open this up, and you want to make sure that this database is selected. Come on up here and click on Export, and everything by default is going to be just fine. Click on Go. I would go ahead and leave this name exactly the way that it's being downloaded, but I would put this in a folder with the same name of the file backup. So in other words, I would create a new folder. That way you know this particular database backup goes with this particular file backup. Eliminates any confusion 6 months down the line when you need to put these guys back in place because your site got broke. And that's it. That's how easy it is to do a full backup of your WordPress site, both files and your database. Close this out, and let's head on back to our website here. Now, there are many more security measures that you can put into place to help keep the bad people out, like installing, activating, and configuring the free iThemes security plugin that used to be called Better WP Security, or BWS. But for now, the items that I covered in this video will help keep your site safer than the sites that do not have these basics in place. That's the end of the video on basic WordPress security. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video is going to walk you through a tour of your WordPress dashboard. Now, the WordPress dashboard is the central location of all the content management features in your WordPress site. You get there by typing into your browser's address bar up here the URL to your WordPress site /wp-admin. then go ahead and hit enter on your keyboard, and then you're going to be prompted to add your username and password in a little box that pops up here in the center. Then whenever you do that, you're going to be brought to a page that looks similar to this. Now along the top here is your admin bar, and it has several different links to various parts of your WordPress site. Over on the far left, you've got this icon here for WordPress, and if you hover over that, you get this little drop-down menu. Next to that is the title of your WordPress site and a little house looking thing. If you click on that, or this link here that says visit site, that's going to take you to your main page of your WordPress site. Then next to that, you can access comments. Then next to the comments link, moving to the right, you have the new link where you can add a new post, new media, that's like videos and images and such, new page, and new users. These can also be accessed over here in the far left column, otherwise known as your main menu. But getting back up here to the far right on your admin bar, you have your name or whatever name you're logged in as, and to the right of that is your gravatar or the image that represents this name that you're logged in under. And in this little drop-down box here, you've got a few features. Whenever you hover over your name, that'll take you to your profile page. Likewise with this guy here that says edit my profile, just click on that. They'll take you to the same page. And then here we'll log you out. Now here in the middle, we've got the various modules that can be moved around or even removed by clicking on the screen options tab up here at the top right. And by removing the check mark in these boxes, we'll remove these various modules. For example, at a glance, this guy right here, untick that, poof, it's gone. WordPress news, you don't want to know about the news, uncheck that, poof, it's gone. And likewise, you just add the check back into the boxes and they will reappear, just like so. And if we go ahead and click off of the screen options tab, you have the help option over here, and this is page specific. So you can click on this, and this gives you specific information related to the dashboard area. You also have this help tab up here in the top right on these other items here that are specific to that particular item. For example, if we go to the post page, come on up here to the help tab, these items here are going to be more related to the post section when it comes to helping answer any questions. Whatever you see on this help page here might be different than what you might see on, say, the appearance page help section. This is more related to the themes. So now if we take a closer look to the main menu over here on the left, you see the various titles here and the little flyout menu whenever you hover over these items. Being brand new to these, they might not mean a whole lot to you, but you'll get accustomed to them over time. Post, just like it sounds, that's where you add a new post. Now whenever you click on this link here, the flyout menu pops down below that item, and you can still access each and every one of those links just by clicking on them. And then moving on down, we've got media. That's where you can add things like images or video or audio files, pages, comments, and appearance. That's pretty important because that's where you can add and customize the various looks or themes of your WordPress site. Along with that, you have access to various widgets, menus, header, background, and editor. Plugins adds a ton of additional functionality to your WordPress site. Users, that's where you can go in and add additional users or access current users or even access and edit your own profile. Tools, and under settings, a lot of cool stuff in here, but that's the makings of a different video altogether. Now I also want to mention that you can collapse this menu to where it's just showing those icons that were to the left of the menu items. So if you want more real estate here in the center, go ahead and collapse that. Otherwise, just click on what looks like a little video play button there, and it will expand that back out to full size. And that's a tour of your WordPress dashboard. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video will explain the difference between a WordPress post and a WordPress page. Now, of the two, the post is by far the most important. Now, let's back up to the beginning. The post has been around since WordPress first began, and the page was not introduced until version 1.5 back in 2005. You see, with version 1.5 onward, you could now create static pages like your contact page or your about page that are not part of any blog post. And here's a couple other differences between the two. Pages are a one-off content holder, and posts are a series of content within a WordPress site that can be related to one another or not, but are by default shown in reverse chronological order, meaning the most recent post is at the top and the older posts are below that. And pages can be parents or children of one another, but posts cannot. Posts, however, have tags and categories, but pages do not. And by default, you can use custom page templates, but you can't with posts. Posts have different post types, static, video, audio, depending upon the theme that you're using, and pages do not. And you can create as many different pages as you want, just like posts, and posts show up in your RSS feeds, but pages do not. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on the differences between your WordPress post and your WordPress page. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a WordPress page. And you do that by logging into the dashboard area of your WordPress site. And if you aren't currently logged in, then you want to put the URL to your WordPress site up here in the browser bar, followed by a /wp-admin, hitting enter on your keyboard. Then a box for your login credentials will pop up. Enter that stuff, click on login. Then once you're logged in, come over to the left main menu. And when you hover over the pages link, you're going to get this little flyout menu that lists all pages or add new. Now if you click on all pages or the pages link here, they'll take you to the same page, which is a list of all the pages that you've already published or those that you've started to publish but are currently in the draft stage. But right now let's check out the Add New tab, which brings us to the page editor, where you can enter a title and the content for the body for your page. And you can add content here in both visual or text. The text option basically just shows you the text version, like the source code version of what you've entered in the visual, if you're going to work that way. Totally up to you how you enter the information. And you've got a few other options up here in screen options that will show more or less features on your editor page. If we just check that out, I'll show you. You can toggle on or off various features, and they'll automatically show up or be removed if you enter those checks in those boxes. You see here now you've got discussion where you can toggle on or off to allow comments or trackbacks and pingbacks. And I think I'm just going to leave those off for demonstration purposes. And click on that to close it up. And you've got a page-specific help section for your Add New page. And let's go ahead and add a title up here. And of course this should be related to the body of your page as well. And you'll see that you've got various formatting options here that are pretty much the same as other document creation programs. I'm going to go ahead and copy some content from a Word document and paste that in here by using the keyboard shortcut keys on my Windows operating system. It's holding the Control key down on my keyboard and hitting the letter V as in Victor to paste that in here. Now whenever you do this from a Word document, then it's automatically going to copy in all of the formatting. So you can see here that's the link and the bold text, and we can see that further by checking out the source code by clicking on the text tab. You can see it's got all the source code for the links and the bolding. But if I didn't want that, if I just wanted to be pasted in the body area here in plain text mode, then let's go ahead and delete this. Then I would paste that content using this button here to paste as text. Go ahead and click on that. You get this that'll pop up one time saying that from now on, everything that you paste in here, whenever this mode is toggled on, will be done so in plain text mode. In other words, it's going to strip out all that formatting. Go and click on OK. And you can see that it's toggled on because of the little border around there. Now it's toggled off. Now it's toggled on. And I'm going to paste that same content in here. Only now it's done so in plain text mode. And if we check that out using the text tab, you can see that all that formatting is gone. Now you can add formatting just by selecting whatever you want to format and then just choose from the appropriate formatting option up here. And if you wanted to add some type of media like an image or a video or an audio file, then you do that by simply putting the cursor in the body area of wherever you want that media to be added. Come on up here and click on Add Media. Then you can select from existing media, or you can upload media from your computer, or you can insert that media from a URL, or you can simply drag and drop that media right into here, like so. And you can tell what media is going to be added to that post by the check mark up here in the top right corner of that item. Then simply click on Insert Into Page, and there it is. And you can format this further by simply selecting the image and choosing whatever formatting option you want up here. Now over here to the right, you've got your publish module where you can either move it to the trash can or you can publish it. You also have some other options here where you can save it to draft. You can change the visibility option from everybody being able to see it to making it, for example, password protected or private so nobody can see it. And if you make a change here, be sure to click on OK for that change to take. And you can also change the publication time from immediate to some point in the future. If you change any of this stuff here, click on OK, then this publish button will change from publish to schedule. Then you would just click on the schedule button to schedule that future publication automatically. We'll click on cancel. Now here below the publish module, you've got page attributes where you can make this page a child of an existing page or the default a parent page. And you also have the ability to use various templates, either those that come with the theme by default or those that you've created yourself and added to this theme. They will all be shown here in the template drop-down area. And you can also change the order in which this particular published page would show up in the menu area. And once you have everything set up the way that you like, click on Publish, and you have the ability to view the page here, or here, or here. You can even preview any changes that you make before it's actually taken place. You have the option to view this before it's even published by clicking the link that was here prior to us publishing it. And if you do make any changes, you can see here where the Publish button has changed to Update. Let's take a look at our newly published page. This is how it looks. And that'll bring us to the end of this video on how to create a WordPress page. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a WordPress post. So let's do that by logging into our dashboard area. And if you haven't done that before, just put the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar of your browser, followed by a /wp-admin, hit your enter key, and a box will pop up asking for your login credentials. Then over here on the left-hand side of your page in the main menu column, go ahead and hover over Posts, and you'll have this flyout menu that shows All Posts, Add New Posts, Categories, and Tags. The categories and tags is where you can go in and add or edit existing categories or tags. Just another way in which you can organize your posts. Now the all posts, which you can get to also by just simply clicking on the post link here in the main menu, is a list of all of your published posts, those posts that you saved as drafts to come back later and finish and publish, as well as those that you've scheduled to publish in the future. And I'll cover that more in detail here in just a second. But for now, let's go ahead and check out the Add New link, which takes us to the post editor. Now right up here, you want to enter your title. This should be keyword rich and of course related to the content in the body area. Then you enter the content for the body. Now you can do this a couple of different ways. You can just go ahead and start typing away and use the formatting options that you may be familiar with, because these are also found in several other document creation programs where you can bold or italicize, underline, change the text color, change the text size, and so on. And for that matter, if you wanted a distraction-free work area, you can click on this icon here and everything's going to go bye-bye except just your work area. And if you want the formatting options to come back, just hover your mouse up here to the top of the page. And if you want to go back to the default editor page, just click on the Exit Full Screen link in the top left corner. Now, as far as adding the content, besides just typing away, you can also copy it from an outside source and paste it in this area, just like I'm about to do now. Now, I just copied some content from a Word document, and to paste that in here and to keep all the formatting options from that original Word document, just go ahead and paste this. Now, I'm in a Windows operating system, so to use the keyboard shortcuts, I hold down the Control key and hit the letter V as in Victor. If you're using a Mac, then it's a different keystroke combination to be able to paste your content in the body area. As you can see, the link has been kept, the bold formatting and everything. Now to further demonstrate that, right now we're in the Visual tab. Let me show you the Text tab, and you can see the text or the source code of what was entered in the Visual tab, which would include the HTML source code for those formatting options. And you can do the same thing in the Text tab by just clicking on these formatting options here. Now, as you can see, these formatting options available to you here are a little bit limited compared to those available to you in the Visual tab. Now, if you wanted to add media, like maybe an image or a video or an audio file, then simply place the cursor wherever you want that to be added, and then click on the Add Media link here. Select from the items available to you in the current media library, or you can add media from an outside source by uploading the file from your computer or inserting it from a URL, or you can simply drag and drop that from your computer into the WordPress media library. Now automatically the item that you dragged and dropped into here or added is going to have the check mark there, and that's the item that's going to be added to your post. You can change that by simply selecting one of the other items. And you can further edit it from within the media library here, or just click on Insert into Post in the lower right corner. Now you can also select that item for further formatting, or just leave it as it is. Now over here on the right, let me move up to the top here first. You've got the screen options where you can add additional features to work with here in your editor page by simply adding a checkbox or removing the checkbox. And that tags option, for example, is added or removed by simply adding or removing the checkbox. Just like the discussion option is available with the checkbox there, which allows you to either allow or disallow visitors from adding comments or trackbacks and pingbacks to take place on this particular post. Go ahead and click on that to close it up. And you have some help options directly related to the Add New Post page right here. Now below that is the Publish module, which allows you to preview this post prior to publication, allows you to save it as a draft for you to come back later and finish it up and then publish it by clicking on the Publish button here, or you can even schedule it to be published at a future date by clicking on Edit, choosing the date here, clicking on OK. Let me go ahead and move this to, say, tomorrow, then click on OK. Then the Publish button will change to a Schedule button. You simply now click on this to schedule this for future publication, and that will happen automatically. Let's go and put this back to where it was. And the visibility by default, as soon as you publish it, everybody's going to be able to see it. But you can click on Edit to change that to a password protected post or a private post where nobody can see it but you, or you can even check this box here to stick this post to the top of the front page. Now, since all posts are shown on your WordPress site in reverse chronological order, meaning the most recent post is at the top of your post page and your older posts fall below those, well, with this box checked and you clicking on OK, as soon as you publish this, this post will remain at the very top of that reverse chronological list, and all future posts will show up below that until you come back in here and untick that box, click on OK, and then update. And you can also move this to trash as well. And below the Publish module, we have the various post formats, which are theme specific. Some themes will have this many, some themes may even have more. For example, this theme is not showing the chat format, and you have the categories and the tags, as I mentioned before, are simply ways in which you can organize your posts into different groups. So let's go ahead and publish this and see what it looks like. And you can view that by clicking on View Post above the title or View Post below the title. They'll take you to the same spot. And here is our post. Let's go and back up here for a second, and I want to show you that if you were to make any edits on this post after it's been published, you would then just come on over here and click on Update for that edit to take place. And you can preview those changes of that edit before you do click on the update as well. And that brings us to the end of this video on how to create a WordPress post. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. A WordPress plugin is a piece of software that adds functionality to your WordPress site. Now this video is going to show you how to locate, add, and activate plugins for your WordPress site. Now to do this, we need to log into the dashboard area of our site, and I've already done that here. If you've not or haven't done so before, just put the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar of your browser, follow that by a /wp-admin, hit enter, and then a box is going to pop up asking for your login credentials. Enter that stuff, log in, then come on over here to the left side here of your main menu, and when you hover over the plugins link, you'll get this flyout menu that has three options. The editor, which you really should stay away from unless you know what you're doing, add new, and the installed plugins. Now you can get to the add new section from here within installed plugins. So let's go ahead and check this out. And this shows you a list of all the currently installed plugins on your site. Those that are currently installed but not activated will have the activate link here just below the title. Those that are activated will have a deactivate link just below the title. As you can see here, the delete feature is not available to those that are currently activated. you have to first deactivate the plugin before you can delete it. And just to the right of those items, you've got the description. Most of that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, if you come on up here to the top, we can click on the Add New link. That'll take us to the page where we can add plugins. Now, you can search for plugins several different ways. By just adding the name of a plugin you know of in this search box, click on Search Plugins, and it'll take you directly to the WordPress.org site where all the plugins are at. And then you can just click on the Search Plugins, and that will open up the plugins directory from within the WordPress.org site, but it'll do so all from within your site. You can do the same thing by clicking on Featured, Popular, Newest, or checking out some of those items that are listed under the Popular Tags feature. You can also go directly to the WordPress.org plugins directory and download a plugin that you're familiar with to your site and then use the upload feature here. Now, all of these will install a zipped folder that contains the plugins files. Another way you can install a plugin is by way of an FTP client like FileZilla, for example, but that method requires you to unzip the plugin folder first. So let's go ahead and demonstrate installing and activating a plugin from within our WordPress site, and then I'll show you how to do it outside of WordPress using that FTP client. So let's go ahead and check out Featured, and it'll bring us to the WordPress.org plugins directory, but again, right from within our site. And we can just go through here and search for one that looks pretty interesting to us. Well, let's go ahead and install the Tumblr importer, because maybe I've got posts or content on my Tumblr site that I want to import over to my new WordPress site. Go and click on Install Now. Click on OK. Now that it's successfully installed, click on Activate to activate that plugin. Now you see we've got two of them that are currently activated. Now let's download a plugin to our computer and install and activate that plugin by way of an FTP client. So let's head on over to WordPress.org. As you can see right now at the time of this recording, there's a little over 30,000 free plugins here. A word of warning, if you come across a plugin that you want to install and activate on your site, but it's not located here on WordPress.org, then you might want to be very careful about it, because these plugins have to pass a strict test to make sure they're not loaded down with malware and viruses before they're accepted here on WordPress.org. So if they're not on WordPress.org, maybe they didn't pass that test, or maybe they haven't applied for it yet. In either case, I would stick to free plugins only found on WordPress.org, but that's just me. But let's go ahead and pick out an item from the most popular section here, Contact Form. And there's a lot of information here for the plugins. And another thing you want to be wary of is, when was it last updated, how many downloads, and what kind of ratings does it have. If it's been downloaded several thousand times but has an average 1-star rating, you probably want to stay away from it. And if it hasn't been updated in several years, another telltale sign, you probably want to stay away from it. Let's go ahead and download this to our computer. Navigate to the location on your computer where you want to download it to. Now let's head over to that location and unzip it, because to install a plugin by way of an FTP client, it has to be unzipped. So I'm going to use my handy dandy 7-zip extractor. And another thing too, depending upon how you extract these plugins, you want to make sure that what you're uploading to your server through that FTP client is a folder that contains the contents, not a folder that contains the folder that contains the contents. Okay, that folder contains the contents. It doesn't have another folder inside of that one that says Contact Form 7 that then contains the contents. Hopefully that made sense. Anyway, and that's what I'm going to be uploading to my server by way of my FTP client called FileZilla. Now, I've already logged in, and you want to make sure that you're uploading that to the proper directory, and that is inside of your root directory. You'll see a folder titled WP-content. Inside of that is a folder titled Plugins. That's where you want to go. That's where I'm at right now. You can see this is the one that we just uploaded by way of our WordPress site, and this is the one I want to upload now. So I'm just going to select that, right-click, left-click on Upload, and it's fully uploaded. So let's go ahead and get on out of here. That's all we need the FileZilla for. Come on back to our site, and let's refresh this page here. And there's the new one that we just uploaded by way of our FTP client. Let's go ahead and click on Activate, and now we've got those 3 that are currently activated. Now, if we wanted to delete these plugins, you can do so individually or in bulk. But remember, first we have to deactivate them. So I'm going to select both of those, come up here to the Bulk Actions drop-down, click on Deactivate, click on Apply. Then we're going to select those again, I'm going to go ahead and add Hello Dolly to the deletion process. And then come on up here to the bulk action drop down, click on delete, click on apply. Then you get this warning message. Yes, I want to delete these and the data within them, and there we are. Now, in closing, some people will say that having too many plugins will slow down your site. That's not altogether true. What might be true with that statement is that having too many badly coded plugins will slow down your site. Because I've seen some sites that have 30 or 40 or more plugins that have an excellent load time, and then I've seen other sites that have 5 or 10 plugins that have a terrible load time. So again, it's not so much the number of plugins that you have installed, it's how well coded those plugins are. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on WordPress plugins. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. A WordPress theme allows you to change the look of your WordPress site, not just the color or the layout, but also things like the font style, size, and color. And heck, even the color of the links can be changed depending upon the theme that you have. This video is going to show you how to locate, add, activate, and even customize themes for your WordPress site. Now to do this, we need to log into our dashboard area. Now I've already done that here, but if you've not, just type in the URL to your WordPress site, follow that by a /wp-admin, hit enter, and then enter your login credentials in the box that pops up. Then come on over to the main menu over here on the left, hover over the word appearance, and click on themes. That's going to bring us to the page that shows us all of the current themes that are installed on your site, and the first one here on the left is going to be the one that's currently active. It even says so right there. Now if you wanted to add a new theme, come on up here and click on Add New, and you have a few different options to choose from to find a new theme. This one is a list of featured themes at the WordPress.org theme directory, which by the way you can also get to by typing in WordPress.org/themes in your address bar. At the time of this recording, there's a little over 2,400 free themes located in the WordPress.org theme directory. Now, a word of warning, before you install any free themes that you found outside of WordPress.org, just know that these themes have passed a test of sorts to make sure that they're not loaded up with malware and viruses. Free themes outside of WordPress.org may not, so just be wary of those. But in addition to finding and installing themes from within your WordPress site here, you can also install a theme by way of an FTP client by either downloading a theme from here or even a premium or paid for theme elsewhere, downloading it to your computer, unzipping that theme, and uploading that theme into the theme directory of your WordPress site, which you would find under WP-content, which is found on your server inside of the root directory of your WordPress site. You go to WP-content, then click on themes. That would open up all the themes that are installed on your WordPress site, and then you would unzip that downloaded theme folder and then upload that unzipped folder and all of its contents into your theme directory. Now that's a bit of a hassle because really it's so much easier to do this directly from within your WordPress site. And you can do so by selecting from the featured themes, popular themes, latest themes, or maybe you're looking for a theme with a particular item. You can do so by going to the feature filter, select the color scheme that you're looking for, the number of columns, layout, features, subject, and below those will be the themes that pretty much fit these criteria that you've selected. And then whenever you find a theme that you're really interested in, just go ahead and click on Install. Oh, and by the way, you can also preview it before you even install it. Click on Install. You get the little preview area here. And if you like what you're seeing, click on Install here. And it's now installed. Now let's come on back over to Themes. You can see now we have an additional theme installed. And if you want to see how that theme looks with your current content, just click on Live Preview, and this is the current content that you have and how it would look if you were to activate this theme. So go ahead and cancel that out. Now as far as customizing, let's go ahead and click on the Customize link, and you can customize any of these themes. I'm going to demonstrate it using the current active theme, the 2014 theme. Click on Customize, and you've got the information over here on the left as far as what you're able to customize with this particular theme. Some of these items may not appear on other themes, so just be aware that these are theme specific. Let me go ahead and move this out just a little bit so I can expose the sidebar here. And all the customizations you make here, you can preview live as it's taking place right here. And then if you like how things look after you've made your customizations, click on Save. Now if this were another theme that's already installed, this would say Save and Activate. But things like the site title and tagline, that's the title, that's the tagline. Hit that drop down arrow. You can see as I type, the changes take place. The general color scheme, header image. There isn't one here, but you can sure add one. Background image, navigation. You can even create a static front page or change featured content. But here's one of the cool things about version 3.9 of WordPress is that now you're also able to change the widgets and preview them live as that change is taking place. You can add, remove, and even move around the existing widgets right here in the customization box. For example, the primary sidebar, let's hit that down arrow. You can see it tells you right here that that's the one on the left, that's this guy here, because the content sidebar by default is not showing. That would be over here on the right hand side. Let me just show you how cool this is. Hit that down arrow and it shows you right here as I'm hovering over these, you see the red box shows up. That shows you what you're about to change if you change anything. Like for example, you can left click, hold, and drag this widget and it makes the move automatically live right there. You can even add widgets too. You get this flyout and you want to add recent comments. Click on that. Recent comment shows up down here. You don't like it there, you want it up here at the top. There it is. And let's say you like how this stuff looks. Click on Save and Publish. Come on back here and let's see how we change things by refreshing the page. There we go, just like it showed in the customization bar. Let's come on back here and close this out. And the last thing I want to point out before we close up the video is they have hidden the delete feature on our themes, but all you have to do to delete a theme in here is number one, you have to make sure that it's not active, but simply select it by clicking on the thumbnail image, and down at the bottom you have an Activate Live Preview. Let's move this back in here. Or in the bottom right, you have the delete function. Go ahead and click on the delete. You get this message popping up saying, are you sure you want to? Click on OK. And it's now gone. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on how to locate, add, activate, customize, and even delete themes from your WordPress site. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. A WordPress widget is a small block that does a specific function. This video will show you what a widget is and how you can put it to use for your WordPress site. Now, not all WordPress themes support widgets, but most do. For themes that support widgets, there are what's called widget-ready areas that you can have widgets in. Usually this is going to be in the sidebar, but depending upon the theme, it can also be in the header area, the footer area, heck, even below the content area. Let's go ahead and log into our dashboard and check out these widgets. I've already logged into my dashboard, but if you've not done so yet or have never done so, just enter the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar, followed by a /wp-admin, hit enter, and then enter your login credentials in the box that pops up next. Then we come on over here to the side main menu on the left, hover over Appearance, and then click on the Widgets link that's located in the flyout menu, and that brings us to the Widgets page. And right now, in this theme, these are the current widgets that are shown in the primary sidebar. In this theme, and I keep saying that because it's all theme specific, you also have a content sidebar and a footer widget area. And we take a look at this again. Right now, we just have the primary sidebar area here. And if we scroll down to the footer area, there isn't one. Let's go ahead and change that. Let's go ahead and add a widget to our footer widget area just to see what it looks like. Hit that drop down arrow. Come on over here and grab a widget, any widget, and let's say recent post. Just grab that, left click, hold, and drag it on over to our footer widget area. This pops open, giving you the opportunity to give it a title and some additional display options. Click on Save, and that's pretty much it. Let's come on back here, refresh our page, and here's our footer widget. And we can get rid of it just as easily. Click on Delete. Come on back here, refresh, and it's gone. Now if we scroll down a little bit, if you have any inactive widgets, they'll show up right here. And some widgets will show up, and some widgets will appear in here depending upon certain plugins or certain themes that you have as well. Now in addition to left click, hold, and drag the desired widget to the desired widget area, you can also just hover over the title of that widget and left click and then select the widget area you want to add this particular widget to. Let's say we want to add this widget to the footer widget area because currently it's in the primary sidebar right here. Click on Add Widget, and it's now in both the primary sidebar and in the footer widget. Click on Save. Come on back and refresh our page. And there it is here as well as here. And one last thing I want to mention as far as widgets are concerned that's brand new with version 3.9 of WordPress is that in the Themes Customization area, we click on that. Depending upon the actual theme that you have installed and you're wanting to customize, You're also now able to customize the widgets by adding, removing, and even moving around the currently added widgets to those particular widget areas. And it's all done live. Let me move this out a little bit so we can see. Here's our primary sidebar. That's this guy right here. Hit that drop down arrow and you see the meta widget is at the very bottom right here. Let's move that to the very top. And boom, just like that, it happens live. Now this is a preview of what it would look like live, and if you like that preview, then you just click on Save and Publish. In addition to moving around, like I said, you can also add widgets. Click on that and get this flyout menu of the available widgets that can be added. And let's say we want to add a calendar. Just go ahead and select that. It's automatically added. Now it's going to add it to the bottom of the widget area, thusly, but like all other widgets in the customize area, you can left click, hold, and drag that and move it to wherever you want. And it will preview it for you live right here. And if you like how things are set up here in your preview area, click on Save and Publish. Come on back to our page here, refresh, and there you go. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on WordPress widgets. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. A WordPress menu or navigation menu is one way that your site visitor can get around and locate various bits of content on your site. This video is going to show you how to add and edit your WordPress menus. Now this is one example of a WordPress menu right here in the default 2014 theme that I have on this site right now. Let's go ahead and log into our dashboard area and take a look at those menus. Now, I've already logged into my dashboard area, and if you have not or have never logged into your dashboard area, just go ahead and type the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar of your browser, followed by /wp-admin, hit enter on your keyboard, then just enter your login credentials in the box that pops up, and then over here on the left main menu, hover over the word appearance, and then come on down here and left click on menus. And by default, you're probably not going to have any menus made. Right here is where you would create a menu. Go ahead and click on create a menu to kind of demonstrate that. Give it a name. You can name it whatever you want. Click on create menu. And you've got a couple of options here. You can check this box here so that every new page that you create from now on will automatically be added to this particular menu. And you can select here if you want this menu to be your top primary menu or a secondary menu located in the left sidebar. Now to add the clickable links into your menu area, you've got a choice from pages, custom links, or even categories. Now this is all theme specific. WordPress in general will support multiple menus. Some themes may not support multiple menus. Some themes may support more than 2 or 3 menus, like one for the header, one for the footer, one for the sidebar, and so on. But how you add items here is under pages, for example, you can just select the page you want to be added. You can also view all, or you can even search from the existing pages that you've already got published. Let's go ahead and add this one, and let's add this one as a child, and the sample page. Click on Add Menu. And here we are. Now this major themes, I wanted that to be a child of the intellectual and moral education page. So right here, I would just hover over it until I got the 4 arrows, and then just left click and drag it a little bit to the right till you see the dotted lines move a little bit, then let go. And you can have children pages as much as you want. You can have a child of a child, child of a child of a child, and so on. And you can also add custom links that are not even within this particular WordPress site. Let's put in, let's say, google.com. Give it a name. This is the name that's going to appear on the clickable tab. Click on Add to Menu. Let's say I want this to be the very first tab that shows up from the left or from the top, depending upon where this menu is going to be located at. Just left click, hold, and drag it to the very top of the punch. And you can also choose from categories. Let's go ahead and make this the secondary menu that's going to be located in this theme in the left sidebar. Click on Save Menu. Now you can also manage locations. Come on up here. And currently the main is as it is right now, and the new main, the one I just created, is located over here in the left sidebar. Let's go ahead and refresh this and I'll show you what it looks like. Right here. And you see that's the child theme and how it shows up on this particular theme as a flyout. Now if we change these guys around, it'll show up as a drop down. Come on up here, and again I'm in the Manage Locations. I want the new top primary to be the one I just created, and the new secondary to be the original one. Click on Save Changes. Come on back here and refresh. And there we are. And hover over that one. You can see it's now a drop down. And these are over here on the left sidebar. Now let's come on back to Edit Menus. and I'll demonstrate how to get rid of a menu because I don't like that setup. Go and click on Delete Menu, click on OK, and now all we're left with is the main. And now if you come on down here, you can see this one is still selected as the secondary menu, and there's nothing selected as the top menu. And this is what it looks like. Let's go ahead and tidy that up a little bit. Make this the top menu and no secondary left menu. Save menu. Come back here and refresh. And we're back to normal. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on your WordPress menu. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. This video is going to cover some of the more important basics of optimizing your WordPress post for search engines. Now in this video we're going to cover a few things. One, we're going to create an optimized post after we install a free plugin that's going to help us with our optimization goals for our search engines. And we're going to change the permalink structure of our WordPress site that will further optimize all the posts that we create from that point on. Now there's a ton of great SEO plugins, but only a few excellent plugins that are free. My personal favorite is the WordPress SEO plugin by Yoast. But the one I'm going to demonstrate in this video is the all-in-one SEO pack that you can find at WordPress.org. Now the main reason why I'm doing this plugin instead of the Yoast plugin is because the popularity of this one is a little more than that of the WordPress SEO plugin by Yoast. The all-in-one SEO plugin has a little under 18 million downloads, where the Yoast has a little over 9 million downloads. So just based on that alone, we're going to stick with the all-in-one SEO plugin. But before we install and activate and configure the plugin, let's go ahead and log into our dashboard area. And I've already done so here, but if you haven't or have never logged into your admin area or dashboard area, just put the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar, follow that with a /wp-admin, hit enter on your keyboard, and then enter the login credentials that it asks for in the box that pops up next. Then you come on over here to the settings option over in the main menu, and then in the flyout menu, click on permalinks. And by default, this is what all of your post links look like. They got the URL to your WordPress site, /, a question mark, a P, which I think stands for post, equals, and then the post number. Not very search engine friendly at all, and for that matter, me as a human being looking at this URL doesn't tell me anything. But it would tell me a lot if I looked at this and it gave me the title of the post right here. That would tell me right off the bat what this particular URL was referring to, and search engines love that as well. Now, how would we do that? Well, pretty simple. Come on down here and click on the radio button for post name as far as the permalink structure is concerned. Now, if you're familiar with the different code snippets for your own custom permalink structure, then by all means go to town, put in here whatever you want. My suggestion though would be to stick with just the post name, and it automatically populates what needs to be in here for the post name to show up at the end of your URL from now on. And then you come on down here and click on Save Changes. Now then, we want to head over to the plugins department and install our new plugin. So click on the Add New link that flies out when you hover over the plugins link in the main menu. Type in here All-in-One SEO Pack, and then click on Search Plugins. Should be the very top one that pops up. Click on Install Now. Click on OK, and then click on Activate. Now up here at the very top is where your all-in-one SEO link is going to be showing up. And you've got a few options that pop out here in the flyout. We're really only going to be interested in the general settings right now. And by default, the general settings module right at the top is pretty fine just the way that it is. For more advanced users, you can go ahead and adjust these however you like. But the next module, the home page settings, is what you really need to pay attention to. You want to put in the title to your website here. You want to put in a description of your website here and keywords here. Keywords are what people would normally type into the search engine box looking for your site. Now these keywords should also be part of the title as well as part of the description. That's what they're referring to when they say keyword rich. And if you want more information on what they might be looking for in these various options, you've got the question mark right here that you can click on, get this little pop down help box, and you also have the help section right here as well. And takes you directly to the plugin creator page for additional information on the entire plugin. But if we scroll on down here, Most of this stuff is fine just the way that it is right out of the box. And coming on down here and clicking on Update Options. And that's basically all you need to do as far as configuring the all-in-one SEO pack to get you going in the right direction. Now let's go ahead and create us an optimized post by clicking on the Post link and Add New. You want to enter a keyword-rich title and a keyword-rich content area here for the body of your post. And I'm just copying and pasting this from another document. But I'm going to go ahead and add an image here, and with images as well as the content, you can also optimize those for search engine results as well. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Just put the cursor wherever you want to add the image, click on Add Media, select from the images or media in the media library, or add your own, dragging and dropping. And with that image selected, make sure that the title and the alt text are keyword rich and related to that image as well as the content of that post. And you can also adjust the alignment here. And I usually do not link this anywhere outside of the actual WordPress post. And you can adjust the size as well. The best way to optimize images is to not rely on WordPress to adjust the size, but adjust the size of the image prior to bringing it into your WordPress post. And that's just a basic normal procedure of creating a post. Where the all-in-one SEO pack plugin comes in at is below the body of the post right here. You want to put in a keyword-rich title, keyword-rich description, and a list of keywords right here, comma separated. So I just copied the actual title from above. I'm going to paste that in there. And these keywords, I'm just going to copy those and paste those in the tag box here on the right column. Click on Add, and I'd also want to put it in a related category if I had one, or create a new one if I didn't have one already. And this preview snippet is basically what it's going to look like in the search engine results when somebody types in one of the appropriate keywords that is part of this particular post. Now, right now, this is a demonstration of what the original permalink structure would show, but let me go ahead and publish this. Then come on down here and you can see what it looks like now after we've changed the permalink structure to a post name. The search engines are going to love this, and as a human looking at this URL, I can tell right away a little bit more about what I'm going to be looking at whenever I click on this link. Okay, let's look at what we've covered in this video. We've installed the all-in-one SEO pack plugin. We've changed the permalinks to be more search engine and human friendly, and created a post that is optimized for search engines, including the image. Now these are just some of the things that you can do to optimize your WordPress site for search engines. That's going to bring us to the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day. A brute force attack is when someone, usually a bot of some kind, continues to attack your login page by repeatedly trying to guess your username and password until it is successful and breaks into your site. Now, a couple of simple things you can do to help prevent the break-in is to never use easily guessed usernames like test or admin, and to always use strong, unguessable passwords. Now, this will help against the actual break-in, but not the damage caused by the resources being consumed on your WordPress site server, fighting off all the repeated attempts by the bot to guess your login credentials. This can be helped by a plugin that limits the number of tries by a particular IP address, and then that IP address is blocked for a specific time frame. A great plugin for this is called Limit Login Attempts, and it's totally free, and you can find it at the WordPress.org plugin directory. The problem lately, though, has been that certain bots and their brute force attacks are coming with tens of thousands of IP addresses, which will shut down a server very quickly even if you have an IP address limiting plugin installed. The plugin will prevent the break-in, but will not prevent the massive attack and the eventual crash of your server trying to fight off all those attacks by all those different IP addresses. Now, what I found to be a quick, easy, and free solution to all these problems is another free plugin called Brute Protect. Let's go ahead and log into our WordPress admin area and install and configure this plugin. Now, I've already logged into my admin area, but if you've not or never have before, go ahead and put in the URL to your WordPress site up here in the address bar of the browser, followed by a /wp-admin, hit the enter key on your keyboard, and then enter the login credentials that it asks for in the box that pops up next. Then come on over to the left sidebar of the main menu and hover over the plugins link, and then click on the add new link. And in the search box, type in Brute Protect, and don't put a space in between the two words either. It's just treated as one word. Then click on Search Plugins, and it'll be the very first option that pops up. Go ahead and click on Install Now. Click on OK, and then click on Activate Plugin. Now the next thing you'll do is get an IP key for Brute Protect. Pretty simple. Just enter an active email address, then click on Get API Key, and that's it. Then you get the message here saying you have successfully generated an API key. Brute Protect is now activated and ready to keep you safe. It's a good idea to go ahead and copy this and paste this somewhere outside of your site, like on a text document in a folder dedicated to this particular WordPress site. The very next thing you want to do is over here under the Brute Protect link in the main menu here on the left, is click on IP whitelist, and you want to make sure that you have your IP address in here. Usually off to the right will be a box that shows your current IP address, so you simply copy and paste. But because I've got this scrunched together here for the video, this is showing right here at the bottom. So I would just copy this and then paste that right in here. Come on down here and click on Save, and I'm good to go. Basically, that's all you need to do, but you can check out more by clicking on General Settings. And if you want to work closer with Brute Protect and allowing them to have access to some of your stuff, just check the appropriate boxes, click on Save Changes. But all this is totally optional. And before I close out this video, one last thing I want to point out is a very cool plugin called Clef. This only works if you have a smartphone, because this actually removes the need for a username and a password. Instead, you would hold up your smartphone to the login box, and the two would communicate with one another, verifying that you are the administrator for this site, and it works great. So if that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and install and set up Clef, and it doesn't take very long at all. And that's going to bring us to the end of this video on preventing brute force attacks on your WordPress site. Thanks for watching, and you have a great day.